Hello everyone, students. I hope you are doing very good. So guys, today we are going to study about pulmonary embolism. It also comes under two respiratory problem. So let's go. We will start our today's session. Introduction about pulmonary embolism refers to the obstruction of the pulmonary artery or one of its branch by a thrombus or thrombi that originates somewhere in the venous system or in the right side of the heart. So basically what happen in condition of pulmonary embolism? In this condition, obstruction occur in area of the pulmonary artery. It is comes under to pulmonary embolism. Okay, now we will see definition for pulmonary embolism. Pulmonary embolism is the blockage of the main artery of the lungs or one of its branch by a substance that has a travel from the elsewhere in the body through the blood stream. So basically, in a condition of pulmonary embolism, main artery of pulmonary system is blocked due to the any kind of reason. It is a condition of pulmonary embolism. Now we will see next definition. Pulmonary embolism. Embolism means impactation, pressure of a thrombus or foreign matter in the pulmonary artery, and pulmonary embolism is the blockage of the pulmonary artery by thrombus, fat or air embolism and tumor tissues. So due to any kind of reason, like kind of reason is a fat, air substance, any kind of tissue formation in area of the pulmonary system. So if that thing is available in the pulmonary system, that particular condition is comes under to pulmonary embolism. Okay students, now we will see next things about pulmonary embolism. Types of pulmonary embolism. So basically pulmonary embolism are divided into two types. First type is thrombotic, second is non-thrombotic, like example fat, air, tumor, amniotic fluid, etc. So now we will see one by one. What is thrombotic? Thrombotic means even when a blood vessel is not injured, blood clot may form in the body under the certain condition. A clot or a piece of the clot that break free and benign to travel around the body is known as the embolus. Thrombosis may occur in the vein, basically venous thrombosis, or in arteries. So what is the thrombotic type of pulmonary embolism? Due to the clotting of blood, if blockage happened by the blood clot, so this kind of thing is comes under to thrombotic type of pulmonary embolism. Okay, now we will see next type, non-thrombotic type of pulmonary embolism. So basically responsible reason are have a different type, like fat, air, tumors and any kind of amniotic fluid. So by this kind of thing is happen blockage in particular area of pulmonary arteries or pulmonary veins. So it is a condition is comes under to non-thrombotic type of pulmonary embolism. Okay students, so it's all about the types related to pulmonary embolism. Now we will see next thing, causes for pulmonary embolism. So here have a different kind of causes, different kind of reason for the causing of pulmonary embolism. Like first cause is thrombus, means any kind of the clotting substance happen in area of pulmonary system, and embolism, any kind of embolism means any kind of the barrier obstruction have in area of pulmonary embolism. Any kind of trauma, sometimes person suffering by any kind of trauma, and that particular trauma is maybe the responsible reason for the blockage. And any kind of surgery, due to the any kind of surgery, maybe the chances surgery, which kind of surgery, like respiratory system surgery or cardiovascular system surgery. So both kind of surgery sometimes maybe the chances reason for the blocking condition. Okay students, now next cause are hypercoagulability. So if person suffering from the hypercoagulability, means coagulative process is more than the higher, that condition that person also risk period for the pulmonary embolism. Now next cause are heart failure. If person suffering by the heart failure, that condition that person also have a risk for circulatory system, that's why. Now next cause are pregnancy. If person have a pregnancy, so pregnancy is not very common risk factor for pulmonary embolism. It is very rare risk factor or cause. increased coagulability of blood level. So basically what happened in duration of pregnancy, maybe the chances of increased coagulability, so that's why it is also one kind of reason, but it is very rare reason. Okay students, now next thing is older than 50 years. So if person have a more than 15 year, 55 year, so that condition, that person also risk for the pulmonary embolism, just because of the system of the body is sometime very down, and function of the systematic organ is also very low in duration of the older period. So that condition, it's also very kind of responsible factor. Okay, now the next cause are atrial fibrillation. It is also one kind of responsible factor for the condition of pulmonary embolism. Okay, it's all about the causes for pulmonary embolism. Now we will see next pathophysiology for pulmonary embolism. So if person have any kind of risk period for pulmonary embolism, risk period means any kind of contact with causes. Okay, so then further what will happen further, which lead to pulmonary artery obstruction. If person contact with any kind of trauma, if person with contract any kind of another causes, so that condition, first thing is happen obstruction of pulmonary artery. Then further which lead to the release of humoral substance. Okay, after the artery obstruction, then further we will lead condition is release humoral substance, and then further which lead to the decrease alveolar perfusion. If person have a condition related to the release of humoral substance, that condition, that person definitely have a chance to decrease alveolar perfusion just because of humoral releasing condition. Okay students, so then further which lead to the again loss of surfactant, means if person have a risk period for the decreased alveolar perfusion situation, so perfusion is decreased in pulmonary system, that condition, that person definitely have a gone to loss of surfactant. Okay, so it's all about the pathophysiology related to pulmonary embolism. So basically very little bit changes occur in particular period of pulmonary embolism. Only 4 steps of pathophysiology is happen in duration of the pulmonary embolism. Okay guys, I hope you all are understand about pathophysiology. So let's go, we will see symptoms related to pulmonary embolism. So here severity of clinical manifestation of pulmonary embolism depends on the size of emboli and the size and numbers of blood vessels occluded. Most common manifestations are, first one is anxiety, and we all are know respiratory system is a very important system for the human body. So if person have a problem related to respiratory system, okay, so person definitely have a problem breathing pattern as well as different kind of also problems, so that person is definitely gone to the anxiety period. Okay, the first important symptom in duration of pulmonary embolism is anxiety. Person feel anxiety, person suffer anxiety period episode also. Now sudden onset of unexplained dyspnea. Okay, suddenly person have pulmonary embolism, that condition, that person definitely suddenly feel dyspnea, that means difficulty of breathing. Tachypnea or tachycardia. So if person have any kind of obstruction, any kind of blockage in area of the pulmonary arteries, that condition, that person definitely have an increased pulse rate as well as increased respiration rate. Okay, now next symptoms are cough. Person feel cough, and pleuritic chest pain. It means which kind of chest pain? In duration of the sputum production, person feel chest pain sensation. Okay, and hemoptysis means blood with sputum, so it is also one kind of symptoms related to the pulmonary embolism. Then crackle sound also showing by the patient. What is crackle sound? It is abnormal sound related to respiratory system. So here person show crackle sound. Okay, so this kind of symptoms showing in duration of the pulmonary embolism. Now let's go our next thing. Next symptom also having here like fever, attentiveness of the pulmonic heart sound, and sudden change in the mental status as a result of hypoxia. So we all are know a person suffering by the hypoxia, that condition, that person definitely mental status changes. Why? Because hypoxia is a condition of blood oxygen deficiency in a blood. So that condition, that oxygen deficiency also happen in over the nervous system. So that's why person definitely so changes the mental status function in a period of pulmonary embolism. Now another symptom also in massive embolism symptom like shock, pallor, severe dyspnea, crushing chest pain, and pulse is rapid and weak, BP is low, ECG indicates right ventricular strain. So this kind of symptoms also showing by the patient related to pulmonary embolism. Okay, now we will see about diagnostic evaluation. So here have a lots of diagnostic evaluation for the patient related to pulmonary embolism. So first diagnostic evaluation is we all are know history taking and physical examination is very important kind of diagnostic evaluation, or not only for the pulmonary embolism but each and every kind of disease condition. Why? Because by the history we detect two cause, means which kind of responsible factor are affect that particular situation, we are just detect by the history. And physical examination we monitor which kind of symptom showing by the patient, so it is also very important kind of diagnostic tool. Okay, now the venous study also very important kind of diagnostic evaluation in a duration of pulmonary embolism, because in a condition of pulmonary embolism a person definitely have a blockage of artery as well as venous or vein, so that's why it is also one kind of very important test. Okay, now the chest x-ray. Why chest x-ray? Because if we are doing chest x-ray, that condition we are monitor which area of chest are basically affect. Okay, now continuous ECG monitoring, ABG analysis. What is ABG analysis? Arterial blood gas analysis, because in a duration of pulmonary embolism a person suffering by the arterial blockage, so it is also one kind of important tool for detect the patient arterial blood gas level. Okay, and then next is CBC count with WBC differential and D-dimeral level also. It is also one kind of blood investigation to detect the which kind of a blockage happen in area of pulmonary system. Lung scan means CT scans, lung CT. So we are detect by the lung scan which location of the pulmonary system is affected by the CT scan of pulmonary system. Now next is a pulmonary angiography. So by the angiography what we monitor? We monitor circulatory system of particular system. So here which kind of system? Circulatory system monitored by the angiography. Pulmonary system circulatory function is proper monitoring by the pulmonary angiography. Then next one is spiral CT scan, means functional CT scan in monitoring in duration of the particular spiral CT scan, means if we are doing CT scan, that condition working condition of pulmonary system is monitored by the advanced technology. So it's all about the diagnostic evaluation for the condition of pulmonary embolism. Okay students, now we will see management for pulmonary embolism. If anyone is suffering by pulmonary embolism, then what we do. Okay, before going management, firstly I will tell you about D-dimer test. So basically I already told about the D-dimer test. It is a one kind of blood investigation. So D-dimer test is a blood test that measures a substance that is released when a blood clot to help check for the blood clotting problem. So by the D-dimer test we are just monitor blood clotting problem and how much the clot of the blood and which area basically clotting of the blood in pulmonary system. So it is a very important test for the pulmonary embolism situation. Okay, let's go. Treatment for pulmonary embolism. So here have a different kind of treatment for pulmonary embolism, like first pharmacological management. So first important management for pulmonary embolism is anticoagulant drugs. Why? Because we all are know in a duration of pulmonary embolism, clotting problem is definitely arising or arised. See, okay. So first important drug for pulmonary embolism is anticoagulant. Like example, heparin. Heparin is given as an injection. Like example, anticoagulant medicine have a different type. Now apixaban and dabigatran and endosabine, heparin, rivaroxaban and warfarin. So this kind of medicine comes under to anticoagulant drugs. We are providing for the maintaining coagulant process of the blood. If person maintain proper coagulant function of the blood, that condition, that function no having a chance for pulmonary embolism. Okay students, so it's all about the pharmacological management. Now we will see nothing surgical management. So which kind of surgery we perform in a condition of pulmonary embolism? So surgery is pulmonary embolectomy. So what we do in a pulmonary embolectomy? So embolectomy is the emergency surgical, and which condition we perform pulmonary embolectomy? If medical management of pulmonary embolism is failed, that condition we are prescribed pulmonary embolectomy surgery. So basically in this kind of surgery what we do, embolectomy is the emergency surgical removal of emboli which are the blocking blood circulation. It is usually involve removal of the thrombi blood clots and is then referred to as the thrombectomy. So which area or which lobe of the lungs have a clot, that particular area and lobes are a surgical opening, and we remove the clotting blood by the embolectomy surgery. Okay students, so it is the surgical management for the pulmonary embolism situation. Now we will see complication for the pulmonary embolism. So first complication are cardiac arrest. Person maybe the chances have gone cardiac arrest just because of not proper treatment related to pulmonary embolism, that condition. A sudden, sometimes temporary cessation of the function of heart and sudden death, and person also have a problem related to shock. Sometimes person gone a condition of shock just because of not treating of pulmonary embolism. Abnormal heart rhythm also, and death of the part of the lung called pulmonary infarction also have a chance for not proper treating of pulmonary condition, that situation basically. A build-up of fluid pleural effusion between the outside lining of the lungs and the inner lining of the chest cavity, and paradoxical embolism also one kind of complication for pulmonary embolism situation, and pulmonary hypertension also. So this kind of complication may be the chances person risk if we are not proper treating related to pulmonary embolism condition, that situation. Okay, so it's all about the pulmonary embolism. Now we will see nothing. Pulmonary hypertension, it is also one kind of very important complication for the pulmonary embolism condition. Is a rare lung disorder in which the arteries that carry blood from the heart to the lungs become narrowed, making it difficult for blood to flow through the vessels. As a result, the blood pressure in these arteries, and called pulmonary arteries, rises for above normal level. So it is also happen if a person is not proper treated by the condition of pulmonary embolism, and that particular situation may be the chances person suffering this kind of complication. Okay, but it is very rare. It is very rare kind of cardiovascular disease. It is not very general kind of cardiovascular disease. Okay students, so it's all about the complication for pulmonary embolism. I hope you all are understand. Now we will see next thing, nursing management. So what we do as a nurse in a condition of pulmonary embolism, first is minimizing the risk of pulmonary embolism. It is very important kind of nursing management. If we are minimizing of risk or causes related to pulmonary embolism, that condition person definitely have a prognosis level. Preventing thrombus formation, and we are proper giving medical management. We are proper giving another kind of Additional treatment for the preventing condition of thrombus formation. Assessing potential for pulmonary embolism. Assessing condition of pulmonary embolism. What are the condition at particular situation of pulmonary embolism and what need patient to particular situation. Monitoring thrombolytic therapy. Which kind of thrombolytic therapy person continue. So we are proper monitoring that particular therapy is a helpable therapy for patient or not. Managing pain. A person have a feel pain in duration of pulmonary embolism, that condition we are proper giving up treatment related to pain reduce. So it's all about the nursing management. Another nursing management is managing oxygen therapy, because we all are know in previous slide sometime persons showing hypoxemia. So hypoxemia means deficiency of oxygen definitely. So only that's why we are providing proper oxygen therapy. Relieving anxiety. It is also one kind of important symptoms in duration of pulmonary embolism. So if person feel anxiety, that condition we are proper providing psychological therapy. Monitoring for complications. Proper monitor complication situation. We all are know which kind of complication arised in duration of the pulmonary embolism. So as a nurse we are proper monitor. Providing post-operative nursing care. Students, we all are know if person have a pulmonary embolism, that condition if person not treating by the medical management. So what we do, that condition we are performing surgical management. So if person have a surgical management and proper operated by the surgery, so that condition what our responsibility? Our responsibility is proper give a surgical or post-operative care like dressing, fluid and electrolyte therapy, etc. Okay. Now next thing is promoting home and community based care. So it is also very important kind of nursing management if person suffering by the pulmonary embolism. Okay guys, so it's all about the pulmonary embolism. Thank you for listening me, and I hope you all understand about today's class. If you have any doubt, so please ask me.